In the darkest depth of Helghan's despair, its economy paralyzed, its people starving, and its future obscured by smog and hopelessness, a single voice rose above the silence. The voice belonged to Scholar Visari, a man whose origins were humble but whose rhetoric, charisma, and ideological clarity defined a new age. At first, Visari was just another public speaker, appearing at ration rallies and industrial funerals with a fire in his voice that no one else dared to wield. But while others called for survival, Visari spoke of destiny. We are not broken. We are not weak. We are the next step. The crucible has shaped us. The storms have forged us. The mask does not hide us. It reveals what we are. Visari rejected the shame Helghans were taught to feel about poverty, about the radiation-borne ailments, about the masks and their deformities. He told them that these were not defects, but proof of evolution, and the people listened. To the workers, he promised pride, honor, and purpose. To the elites, he offered a new order to protect Helghan from economic chaos. To the military, he preached duty, strength, and the resurrection of lost dignity. And to the youth, he gave identity. You were not cast-offs, you were Helghast. His message was dangerous. His rhetoric burned through the carefully constructed walls of Helghan authorities' caution and compromise. Yet few in power dared to confront him. Why? Because he gave people hope, and hope was in short supply. Visari's genius was not just ideological, it was symbolic. He reclaimed the mask. For generations, the Helghan mask had been a mask of labor, of hardship, a necessity to survive in the poison world. To Visari, it was more. The air of this world may kill the outsider, he thundered at one rally, but we will breed it like warriors. The mask is not shame, it is proof. We are strong. Where they are weak, we endure. We adapt. We overcome. Suddenly the mask was not a tool, it was a uniform. Crown. A banner. In 2347, the mask had become sacred. The ideology that would come to define the Helghast identity had taken root. Militaristic unity, absolute leadership, racial superiority born from engineered suffering, devotion to the rebirth of Helghan through strength. Visari did not seize power, he was given it, by the people desperate for meaning, strength, and vengeance. And in return he gave them a promise. We will never beg again, we will never serve again. We will rise, not as supplicants, but as a legion. In a speech that would echo for centuries throughout the halls of Helghan's factories, schools, and war chambers, Scholar Visari gave his people more than unity. He gave them a name. Standing before a crowd of thousands in the heart of New Rygar, dressed in black of the movement he had birthed, Visari raised his gloved hand and spoke not of rebellion, not of economy, not of the past, but of identity. We are no longer what we once were. The Earthborn call us exiles, outcasts, mutants. But they cannot name what they do not understand. He paused, letting the sounds fill the air like calm before a storm. We are Helghast. He declared the term to be rooted in Old English, from the word ghast, meaning spirit or ghost. It was no accident. Visari crafted the term with intent. It evoked fear as spirits do. It evoked reverence as ancestors do. And it evoked rebirth as only those who have died and returned can claim. The Earthborn cling to the decayed humanity. We have moved beyond it. We have been reforged by gravity, by radiation, by famine and blood. Our suffering has not weakened us. It has purified us. We are not ghosts of men. We are living proof of the future. In that moment, the term Helghast passed from word to doctrine. Within weeks, state propaganda adopted the term wholesale. Children in schools recited morning oaths not to the Helghan authority, but to the Helghast ideal. By 2348, Scholar Visari, hold on the hearts and minds of the Helghast people, had become unshakable. He did not yet rule. The remnants of the Helghan authority, cautious and fractured, still occupy positions of authority. While many within the administration sympathized with Visari's movement, they hesitated at granting full power to a man so radical, so theoretical, so theoretical. Visari's answer was as calculated as it was ruthless. During a widely broadcast public address at the Unity Forum in central New Rygar, a gunman opened fire. The shots missed, barely. Visari, dramatically shielding a child from spray debris, was injured as he whisked away by his loyal guard. That night the city erupted in mourning and rage. The footage played on every screen in every district. Within hours, mass demonstrations filled the squares. Banners of the old regime were torn down. Protesters clashed with loyalist officials. Workers walked out of factories, chanting, "One voice, one people, one Visari." Behind closed doors, military commanders, many of them Visari sympathizers, declared martial law, claiming the civil government had lost control. With their backing, Visari emerged the following day, bandaged but defiant, standing atop the burned remains of Hall of Doctrine. "They tried to silence me," he thundered, "but I am your voice, and your voice cannot be killed. The time for compromise is over. I do not ask for your votes. I ask for your faith. Give me 10 years, and I will remake this world. I will turn ash into empire. I will make the Helghast not feared for their masks, but for their power." The crowd roared. The Helghan military pledged its allegiance, publicly, fervently. The remaining officials of the administration, now seen as cowardly bureaucrats, either fled, pledged loyalty, or were purged in the weeks that followed. And so Visari assumed the title of Autarch of the Helghast Empire. No elections, no legal transition, just the will of the broken people looking for strength, and the mask of a man who promised to deliver it. His first decree was simple, spoken into the cold wind before his newly raised black standard. "From this day forward, Helghan is not a colony, nor a debitor, nor a client. We are a nation. We are Helghast. We bow to no one." With power firmly in his grip, Autarch Visari wasted no time turning promise into policy. In the months following his ascension, Helghan entered an era of rapid militarization and radical cultural transformation. Revolution not just in industry and arms, but in mind, language, and symbolism. Visari's first priority was the enlargement and modernization of the Helghast military. What had once been a scattered defense force was reforged into a professional, ideologically driven war machine. He poured what little Helghan wealth existed into mass recruitment campaigns, destruction of weapon factories, and elite training academies. To him, every Helghast was a weapon, and they only needed to be sharpened. But Visari understood that war was not won on battlefields alone, it was won in the mind. In a sweeping act of culture engineering, he banned the use of written English across all state functions, schools, and broadcast. It was, he claimed, the language of servitude, the tongue of earth in its colonial yoke. In its place, Visari introduced a new writing system, the Helghast alphabet. Though an entirely new spoken language had been envisioned, the logistics proved insurmountable. Still, the symbolic separation from Terran heritage was achieved. Language became a political act. To speak or write in English became a mask of disloyalty. The Helghast alphabet became a code of belonging, another line drawn in ideological sand. Finally, Visari discarded the old banner of the Helghan administration, a relic he declared of compromise and weakness. In its place, he unveiled the Helghast triad, 3 bold arrows in stark red and black, each representing a foundational pillar of a new Helghast society. Duty to one's people, planet, and purpose. Obedience to the Autarch, the military, and the cause. Loyalty, unyielding, unflinching, unquestioned. The symbol now flew from every rooftop and military column, burned into the banners of every unit and broadcast on every propaganda reel. To many Helghast citizens, it became not just an emblem, but a creed. We are born in ash, bound by iron, and raised beneath the triad. While the Helghast military swelled under Visari's command, and the society around it hardened into ideological unity, another front quietly opened, not with bullets but with cargo manifests, bribes, and coded transmissions. Visari's next target was not the battlefield, it was the blockade. Though the ISA maintained an official embargo on Helghan trade, its enforcement had grown sluggish. The orbital customs fleet had been reduced to token patrols, stretched thin across the star system that no longer feared an open Helghan uprising. The Vekta public, largely pacified, began to question the cost of the blockade that had returned so little strategic value. Into this vacuum, the smugglers came. It began as low-level energy smuggling, crude cell shipments from abandoned refineries funneled to Vekta black markets. Soon escalated into a shadowy economy. Helghan merchants disguised freighter signatures and bribed patrol captains to slip through customs scans. Vektan industrialists, desperate for cheap fuel and eager to pad their profits, turned a blind eye to the origin of the power cells. Off-world traders, seeing the efficiency and affordability of the Helghan energy, began to route their business, quietly, unofficially, through neutral smugglers. Visari didn't merely tolerate this growth, he orchestrated it. His intelligence services created fake intermediaries, proxy traders, and neural backers, and neural corporations to launder Helghan energy through legal channels. Even as Vektan authorities spoke of blockade enforcement, the military knew that half of the city's infrastructure was now indirectly powered by Helghan exports. The ISA, humiliated and under-resourced, could do little. Random raids yielded only token seizures. Public doubt over the blockade's morality and necessity began to spread across Vekta. Debate sparked within the Vektan Senate about whether the embargo had become a liability. Visari, ever theatrical, remained silent on the matter publicly, but within the halls of command in Pyrrhus, he issued a directive known as Operation Tide Reversal. They take our energy in secret, then they will take our ideology in silence. Let them drink from the well of the Helghast. In time, they will beg for the cup. The embargo was not broken with warships. It was bled dry with opportunity. After decades of economic deprivation, political isolation, and harsh survivalism, the Helghast took a decisive step toward reclaiming the place among the stars. Not through conquest, but through commerce. At the edge of the Helghan stratosphere, a new transfer station emerged from the haze, smaller than the once grand orbital platform lost in the UCN conflict. The new Helghan Exchange Club was nonetheless built with ruthless efficiency and modernized ingenuity. Construction by a fusion of military engineering units and collectivized industrial syndicates, it served a dual purpose: trade processing and symbolic resurrection. A statement that Helghan, once cut off and scorned, had returned, with smuggling operations laying the groundwork and the black market thirsting for cheap raw Helghan energy. The new transfer station formalized the illegal and legitimized the Helghast economy. Now ships from neutral planets, off-world corporate agents, and even the shadowy Vektan intermediates began arriving, not in secret but openly. The station's cargo arms swung to life. The customs bays buzzed with trade, and the red glare of the Triad banner flew above every docking corridor. The turning point came when the Independent Colonial Strategic Alliance, a loosely affiliated non-allied organization of colonies, reached out to the Helghan administration with an offer that would change everything. The deal was simple. Helghan would provide energy cells, refined ore, and synthetic materials. The ICSA would offer hard currency, open trade corridors, and diplomatic recognition. Visari, this was more than profit. It was legitimacy. The contract was signed with great ceremony at the exchange hub, witnessed by both Helghan High Command and ICA envoys. Let this be known, Visari declared before the cameras. Helghan does not crawl to earth for scraps. We stand, and others come to us. By the end of 2351, the industrial output surged, as renewed income allowed the replacement of long-degraded equipment. Wages stabilized, rations improved, and construction projects resumed across Pyrrhus and the southern cities. For the first time in nearly a century, Helghans were employed to build rather than repair, to export rather than scavenge. The Helghan Central Bureau officially declared the end of the economic depression. In public speeches, Visari referred to this event as the Ascension, a term quickly adopted by the state media. What has begun as a black market workaround had evolved into a sovereign trade empire, powered by discipline, sacrifice, and unyielding ambition. Behind every shipment of Helghan steel and fuel, unseen but unmistakable, loomed the growing shadow of the Helghast war machine, quietly rearming beneath the glow of economic recovery.